Good evening, folks. Red County Blue Nation, West Cliff, Colorado, great states of Americans. Stephen Rourke, Mike Boring on the console. Our cohort in crime tonight, Jimmy McMahon. He is down for the count for a minute, and we hope he kind of gets healed up. He's kind of done something to his sciatica here, where he's kind of on the outs for a little bit. So our prayers go out to him, and best wishes, and get your house healed up, pal. We got too much to do. So gonna handle it tonight by myself. Got a few things that we want to go over here. One of them that I want to go over with everybody, and we've spoken about it before, but I want to bring this up again because this is really this is the hinge point of how all of this is going down with the EBT, the SNAP, the illegals, all of that stuff. And they call it's called Cloward and Piven strategy. The Cloward-Piven strategy is a political strategy outlined in 1966 by American sociologist and political activist Richard Cloward and Francis Fox Piven. The strategy aims to utilize militant anti-poverty groups to facilitate a political crisis by overloading the welfare system via an increase in welfare claims, forcing the creation of a system of guaranteed minimum income and redistributing income through federal government. So that's that whole strategy, folks, is that's what's going on right in front of our eyes. That's what this whole thing is comprised of. That's their strategy to collapse America from the inside out, is through this strategy. And right now it's working pretty good. We got some things here that we've drummed up. So the SNAP EBT, only 12.6 million people on SNAP of the 42 million are actual American citizens. This, that's pretty astounding, right? That's less than a third of the American people are actually getting that. It's all foreign illegal immigrants. It's all people that don't belong here are the ones they're getting all this money. And it's large sums of money. So this is a little thing here. Percentage of U.S. households receiving SNAP benefits. Food stamps by ethnicity. Percentage of U.S. households receiving SNAP benefits. 45.6% of all Afghan households receive SNAP benefits. Somali, 42.4%. Iraqi, 34.8%. Dominican, 34.4%. Caribbean, 28%. All the way down, 24% of blacks. All the way clear down to white people, 8.6% of white Americans receive food stamps. I don't know, folks. There's no way. How can we be responsible to pull all of that weight? And that's what the Cloward and Piven strategy is. You can't pull that weight forever. It just collapses society. And that's what's happening right in front of our eyes. So I hope that Trump and everything that he's doing, it's such a monumental task. How do you systematically go through and and get these people out of this country. I mean, I don't know how else. I mean, it's not fair, right? I mean, it's not fair for them people to be in our country taking food off of our table, or taxing our system, or using our money. I mean, I there's no use bitching about it, because it is what it is. But I mean, something has to be done here pretty shortly, or it's going to cave in on itself. I mean, there's just too much fraud and waste going on with these systems. And of course, they're all democratically controlled NGOs, non-governmental organizations that, I mean, we've said it for over 100 times, going on 200 times, right? It's that line of what side of the fence you're on about money, right? Are you just going to get and spend everybody else's money like there's no tomorrow, or are you going to take care of the resources you have like a good human being? It's taxing to even think about, but I mean, these are the important things that are going on right in front of our face. And I mean, I'm not. It's such a sticky situation between trying to be a good Samaritan and also protecting your own well-being, right? So I mean, it's really easy for people to say, well, we should let's feed the hungry. Okay, I'm just as much about feeding the hungry as the next person, but most of the time, a lot of people that are hungry are lazy, right? So if you were a good, upstanding person, you wouldn't be hungry, because you would work hard enough and you would develop enough energy. You would develop this essence to where you were more productive. You're producing more than you're consuming, and that means you're turning a profit. You're net gain, you're not net loss. So if you're really hungry, I mean, I know bad stuff happens, and luck befalls us and that kind of thing, but I don't know. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It makes all the sense in the world, I guess I should say, to me, that, I mean, if you're hungry, you're more than likely you're lazy, or you're brainwashed to the point where you think that you're owed that. I mean, some of these people that I've been watching with that EBT snap, talking about how they're going to go rob all the stores and how we owe them and all of this, and it's like, I mean, it is what it is, but I'm a little disappointed that them people are in the same country that I'm in. I mean, I don't want to be, I don't want to be prejudiced, but at the end of the day, that's what it takes to understand what reality is. Like, if somebody is not pulling their weight and you're having to try to pull their weight, well, I mean, that's what socialism is, right? The people that work the hardest get the same reward as the people that don't work at all. And what kind of incentive is that? And it's been proven that there is no incentive, and then pretty soon everybody just quits pulling. You don't have anybody doing anything.
It's a generational problem, brother.
It's a generational problem. And it's a huge educational problem as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's the clout and pivot strategy, right? I mean, these globalists, these upper echelon rich people know how to manipulate the lower class and keep them downtrodden, and this is one of the ways, right? We're gonna go up here and we're gonna teach you that you're entitled. You ain't entitled? Oh, dang, woman, you weigh 450 pounds. You're eating enough food for 4 or 5 people. Come on.
Well, we're getting enough EBT for 4 or 5 people.
craziness. So, but yeah, and then, okay, and then so we got a part here about Medicare fraud. Over 1 million stolen identities of Americans were used to make false Medicare claims, stealing $14.6 billion from American taxpayers. $14.6 billion in false claims. Pakistani executive charged in Illinois for $703 million scheme using stolen Medicare data. The DOJ charged 324 defendants, including 96 licensed medical professionals, doctors, nurses, and pharmacists. 50 federal districts. Foreign criminal networks tried to steal 10 plus billion from Medicare using hacked data and stolen identities. 4.41 billion in fraudulent claims held in escrow, with 900 million already paid to criminals. 15 million plus illegally diverted opioid pills prescribed via fake telemedicine. Staged car crashes to defraud insurers. One Florida ring alone, 4.7 million. 245 million in assets seized, including cryptocurrency. 205 providers suspended pre-takedown. Transnational fraud rings use burner phones, fake clinics, and crypto laundering. Matthew Gagliotti, the head of the U.S. Department of the Justice Criminal Division. I mean, this is a battle for your soul, folks, right? I mean, bread gotten by ill-gotten means will turn to gravel in your mouth, and that's what's going on here, right? So all of this stolen money. I mean, at some point, somebody's going to have to pay. And is that brimstone and fire, or just what it is? I mean, it's. I mean, it makes you mad enough to want to strangle him. I know that. 22s are cheap. Then we have another part here about what John Kennedy, the gentleman from Louisiana. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what all went down with this, but supposedly he called AOC out on the floor. AOC was mid-sentence waving her printed New Green Deal 2.0 like it was a victory flag. Senator Kennedy refuses to support our $93 trillion climate justice plan because he's a dinosaur. Kennedy stood up, slow, holding a plain manila folder labeled Democrat Receipts, Do Not Bend. He didn't wait for the chair to recognize him. He just started reading, voiced like molasses over broken glass. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez net worth jumped from 2020 to 2025 from 29,000 to 12.4 million. Campaign promise. Her campaign promise. No corporate PAC money. Actual donors: BlackRock, Google, Pfizer. 4.7 million in dark money funneled through Act Blue Shield's bartender story. Act Blue Shell's bartender story. Last W2 showed $26K, while Mommy's 7 rental properties paid the real bills. Green New Deal co-author. Sakat Chakrabarti fired for funneling $1.2 million in his own LLCs. Kennedy flipped the page. Chuck Schumer, working class hero from Brooklyn. Current residence, $8.2 million Park Slope brownstone. Wife's net worth, $47 million from Goldman Sachs board seat Inflation Reduction Act. Gave $370 billion to green companies, 42 of which donated to his PAC the same week. The kill shot folder page 3 titled The Math They Pray You Never See. $93 trillion over 10 years. That's $714,000, folks. that they're going to try to, I mean, they're $93 trillion is they're going to try to pull the wool over our eyes about CO2 is bad, but yet anybody that is an accomplished grower, or a producer, farmer, understands that CO2 produces more plant life. That's why they inject CO2 into these big greenhouses and stuff. And here we are trying to say that CO2 is bad, but yet anybody that's trying to make any money doing this stuff is injecting CO2 into their greenhouse. Now, I mean, you tell me, how does that add up to you, folks? Oh man, I'm telling you what. To the tune of $93 trillion. Boy, have y'all had enough yet? Jeez Louise. $714,000 per U.S. household. Wow. So it says here, Kennedy closed the folder, looked straight at AOC and said, "Darling, I did the homework. You want $93 trillion from people who can't afford groceries while you fly private to COP climate conferences. Take your trust fund socialism, fold it in all its corners, and stick it where the Green New Deal doesn't shine." The chamber didn't gasp. It stopped breathing. AOC's mouth opened, no sound. Schumer glasses slid down his nose. C-SPAN's live feed hit 28 million concurrent viewers. Highest ever. Kennedy sat down. Folder stayed on the podium like a tombstone. Trended #1 worldwide for 36 straight. Hashtag Kennedy massplode trended #1 worldwide for 36 straight hours. AOC deleted Twitter for 14 hours. Schumer's office called it McCarthyism. Kennedy reply. Post with a photo of a Louisiana food stamp line. McCarthyism is promising utopia while picketing pockets. The folder is now locked in the Senate archives, but America read every page.
Check out those 2 stories I just sent you, bud.
Okay, so I see part of this. Secretary Brooke Rollins found 5,000 dead people getting SNAP and 500,000 people getting SNAP 2 times under the same name. And that's what they've just confirmed. This light has now been shined on one of the most corrupt, dysfunctional. This is on Fox News with Brooke Rollins and the agricultural secretary. And then Real Robert says, here it is. Nearly half of all Islamic immigrants in Minnesota found to have committed to Ihan Omar, immigrating fraud, marriage fraud, tax fraud, loan fraud, bribery, forgery, perjury, bigamy, and incest. During the recent sweep by the Department of Homeland Security. I mean, we know it's bad, right? I mean, I know it's bad, but it's like, I guess in my mind, I don't understand how it could be that bad, and we're still, the country is still working, right? I mean, really, it's like the leech, right? You're just covered in leeches. You got 100 leeches just sucking your blood, boy, just sucking you down. You're still turning, but like at what point do you hit that critical threshold where you no longer can withstand? That's the clout and pivot strategy. That's what they're trying to get done to us, folks. That stuff's hard to believe, really. This talks about Obama's meltdown. Obama's meltdown goes viral after Kennedy drops $638 million Obama Foundation ghost money. This is my legacy you're touching, he says. Senator John Kennedy walked up with a black binder thicker than a phone book labeled Obama Foundation, the Vanishing Act. He didn't yell, he just started counting. 638 million in donations. Poof. 312 gone into global initiatives with 0 addresses. 184 million to African youth programs that don't exist. 97 million to a Delaware LLC that forwards every penny to a valet's Cayman account. Then the knockout punch. Every wire over 5 million signed personally by Barack Hussein Obama. 23 minutes later at a Chicago Democracy Summit, Obama was mid-sentence when the aide shoved an iPad in his face and the hot mic caught everything. Kennedy, that Cajun bastard is in my books. This is my legacy. Get Garland. Seize the servers before noon. Talking about Merrick Garland. All them crooks. He spiked the iPad so hard it exploded. A $22,000 crystal pitcher. Blood from his hand dripped on the white tablecloth while Secret Service dragged reporters away. The clip hit X at 10:51 a.m. By 11:09 a.m. 389 million views. Hashtag Obamacy legacy on fire. #1 worldwide for 22 hours straight. Kennedy's final Senate line. Soft as a coffin closing. Mr. President, if everything is clean, why fight the IRS for 8 years to hide the laundry? AG Pam Bondi, 1:42 p.m. FBI teams hitting Obama's center at 4 a.m. 68 agents. Service first. Obama's team. Reckless lies. Kennedy posts with the signing wire. Lies don't need signatures. Sugar. Money does. The binder is sealed evidence. The legacy just caught fire. I mean, you're talking about over a half a billion dollars that this foreign, I mean, it's already proven that he didn't, according to what I can remember about it. I mean, he wasn't even born in America. So, I mean, he's a foreigner. $638 million. And they don't have any receipts for anything, right? But yet, the IRS is a mile up my ass over $600. Have y'all had enough of it yet? Here's Kennedy jamming on Mike Pence. Kennedy just ended Mike Pence's 2028 dream in 47 seconds. Little boy blue couldn't run a lemonade stand. Senator John Kennedy walked into a Fox News carrying a red folder labeled Pence the Paper Trail. He didn't sit. He just opened it up and started reading like Sunday scripture. Michael Richard Pence, January 6, 2021, 1:02 p.m. Text to Chief of Staff. If we certify, I'm done in GOP forever. Delay it. January 6, 1:17 p.m. Reply from Dan Scavino. Sir, that's treason. I mean, it's hard for me to not bite clear through my lip, right, folks? I mean, it sure is irritating. $42 million from America First Policy Institute routed through 3 Pence family LLCs. 0 policy papers produced. $42 million that Pencer got. And he's treasonous? I mean, all I can really say is that it's time. Right, and I'm glad that people like John Kennedy are standing up here and bringing this stuff to light, because I mean, it's so ornery, right? It's either you're either on the take and you're getting paid, or you're too scared. You're blackmailed. So you're either in colluding with them, or you're getting blackmailed. And so very few people are willing to stand up, right? And I mean, I get it, right? If they have your whole family leveraged, but dang. I mean, it's easy to say, and I know it's harder to do, but what's what's the use of living if you know you're going to burn, right? If you're going to burn in hell because you lied and cheated your whole way through, what does it matter about your family? Right? I don't know. I mean, I guess that's just my take on stuff. Like, why you're over here trying to protect your family, but if you're talking about bread gotten by ill-gotten means turns to gravel in your mouth, they're all toast anyhow. And if you're not smart enough to realize that, shame on you. $18 million to advancing American freedom. Only expense private jet fuel to Israel 47 times. Signed, this is all about Pence, excuse me. This is all about Pence some more. Trump's VP last go around. Signed NDA with Dominion Voting Systems. $12 million settlement sealed until 2028. Kennedy looked straight into the lens. Little boy blue thought he could play both sides. Hide the receipts, then run in 2028 like a saint. Son, you couldn't run a church raffle without cheating. Your political career just got certified 6 feet under. The folder hit the desk like a tombstone. Pence's 2028 exploratory committee disbanded 11 minutes later. Hashtag Pence funeral trended #1 worldwide, 187 million posts in 90 minutes. Kennedy's final text to reporters. Tell Mike the lemonade stand is closed permanently. The red folder is now in the Senate vault in 2028. Just lost its core, boy. Is like, we know it's that bad at the top. Is it that bad here, folks? I mean, are our elected officials getting bought off? Is that why the Justice Center is still like, why would they still be after us over the Justice Center? Why did they pay all that money to the Justice Center that it won't be paid? We're only halfway there. We're only halfway there, folks. Only 250 in out of 500 and some thousand that we owe after we gave a almost 300 and some $1,000 tax deduction to the Chet Haga Trust, which we know that Mike Haga is a convicted felon for this particular. That's what he's convicted of, folks, is this kind of fraudulent activity. He's been to prison over it. And so are our elected officials on the take here? Why are they coming at us again with this Justice Center thing? And why it's so sticklish. I mean, I know there's some really good attorneys up in here, but I mean, one of the big problems with attorneys is they're inherently Democrats, which is a huge problem. But in my opinion, if the town attorney was worth a hill of beans, they would already turn that ground back and said, hey, we did some things here. Or, I mean, I don't know why they could. How can you have a lease purchase with the Tabor Act, right? I know they were slick enough to get around it. And some people say, well, yeah, it might not be ethical, but they haven't broken the law. It's like, well, yeah, that's like slamming a door on a little old lady. Yeah, it's not breaking the law, but it's like, whose law are we playing by here? So at what point do we think we've had enough and so I just got one of my viewers chimed in. It says, yeah, we know why the Justice Centers, it's because they're getting paid. They're all getting paid, folks. Billy Bob Biden, Ann Barthrop, Lisa Kidwell, they're all on the take here. They're all getting paid. They're all getting paid to do this. And they didn't just get paid enough to do it the first time, but they're still continuing on. So it's like, how much are they getting paid? And why doesn't anybody care? I've talked to a lot of people. A lot of people. Well, hell, we've already voted that down. Well, we did vote it down. But your elected officials don't listen to you. They think that you're an ostrich with your head in the sand, and most people are, right? I mean, I get it. I'm the same way. I mean, we got life to live, we got bills to pay, we got fires to put out. All this stuff pops up, and you know, it has to be handled, right? I mean, we have to take care of the bank, or the bank puts the repo on stuff, and this and that. And I mean, it's just a part of the society we live in. So, you know, to maintain the roof over our head, and you know, our transportation, and hopefully the best for our kids and our grandkids and all of that, right? I mean, we have to maintain, but at the expense of what? And that's what it is, folks. It's at the expense of your freedom. But you don't realize it. We don't realize that. I mean, and trust me, I'm just as bad as anybody, right? Once I seal the deal, right, I go on, I forget about it. I got too many things to try to remember and try to think about, try to figure out, to remember what I did. That's not how my mind works. I don't think about stuff that I did and be like, oh yeah, we did that, and snap our suspenders and all of this. We got too much to do. But yeah. Yeah, and so this is another thing that's coming up. That's what they call the cops thing, folks, is what we'll have to watch for is that we don't get a private entity that'll foot the bill for this justice center and then lease it to us for that $40 million. I mean, we need to really, I know it's a bad part of the season, right? I mean, holidays are coming up, and it's like a shotgun, right? People they're all over the place. And I get it, right? I understand. I understand it, but it's like, if we're too concerned about our own little being and our own little existence, and we let the whole country burn down, then what's that for? Then what, right? It'll be gone. I mean, that's what Mr. Beltry's talking about right here. What they did in Salida, right? They voted the firehouse in. People didn't go for it, so they ended up finding private money to pay for it, and then they ended up leasing that from them. I'll tell you what, man. That's why they tarred and feathered people for acting astray. That's what the consequence of misaction and ill action is the consequence. And tar and feather is a real thing, folks. They would dip your ass in tar and then dump feathers on you. I mean, I don't think, from my knowledge, I don't think that you actually die from that, or most of the time you don't die, but boy, it'd be pretty painful with hot tar all over you. I mean, when you try to peel that off, it just peeled the hide right off. It'd be pretty bad. I'm going to look that up real quick. Can you die from being tarred and feathered? Yes, you can absolutely die from being tarred and feathered. If the tar was off and boiling hot. So yeah, like I said, not everyone who was tarred and feathered died, but we definitely could be. It was a bad deal. And that's where we don't have nothing, right? We don't have any kind of consequence for Bill Kanda and Ann Barthrop to negotiate these deals behind our back. And there's no evidence like there should be. All the evidence is at Bill Kanda's office, at his home personal office, instead of at Kelly Camper's. Folks, are you listening to me yet? Because I sure hope so, because I mean, it's just coming around again. And I mean, we're going to put a lot of effort into it to really pull their pants down and expose what they're doing. Because it's kind of in limbo, right? There's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, they tried to buffalo us on the lodging tax. We shot that down 2-1. Of course, the other two things with spending the Tabor money, and you know, I get it, right? Everybody thinks, oh, the poor little kids, and there is poor little kids, and bless their hearts. But it's like, why is there no consequence for the people that brought them into this world? So I have to pay because there's no consequence? Nada. That ain't how it works up in here. That ain't what we're about, folks. That isn't the way that we live. That isn't the way we do things up in here. Do I feel bad for them? Yeah, but it ain't my fault. I didn't do it. But the fact of the matter that you think that you're going to pass this legislation, and the most ornery part, I've said this before and I'm going to say this again too, right? If you read closely through that legislation on these things that we vote on, just like the lodging tax, oh, we're going to use it for low-income housing, and oh, we're going to use it for child care. But if you read right down to the very last line, it says right in there, they'll use it however they feel. They'll use it however they want. So what they're doing is playing on your heartstrings to get you to go ahead and do it. And they have no intention of doing that. They just want more money to spend. And that's what that's the fundamental, it's like the fundamental backbone of what this podcast is about, is how people view money and what's your take on how money should be spent. They don't care nothing about the low-income housing. All they care about is more money in the coffer so they can spend it on another wood chipper or whatever kind of bullshit they spend it on. I mean, there's so many things that I get irritated about. It's like, what about the airport, right? Why should we... The people that have to do anything with the airport obviously have enough money to be able to do whatever they want with these airplanes. Why can't they pay for it? Why the hell do we have to pay? Yeah, I mean, another chime in there. You know, that's just like how they want to take that money and put it to wolf introduction, right? These people are not your friends, folks. These politicians are not your friends. So while they talk about trying to get free school lunches, I mean, all they're doing is playing on your heartstrings. And I'm all about it, right? I want every little kid to be happy and full. Don't get me wrong. But it's just not reality. Especially by trying to take it from my money. We can do better. We can do better ourselves. This whole thing of we need a public babysitting rink? Like, what did the old timers do? Right? They took care of their own. That's the way it should be. Hell, if you can't take care of your kid, what the hell would you do bringing him into this world? It's bad decision. But once again, there's no consequence. But yeah. And the airport. So why, as 1 or 2 or 3% of the whole population, use the airport, but all of us pay for it. And I mean, there's a lot of things here, folks, that are coming up, and we're going to put a lot of pressure on Mr. Lopresti here to, I mean, and don't get me wrong, folks, I'm not, what I'm looking for, and I think that I can speak for a broad overlay of what the people are looking for from Taylor Lopresti here, is that we would like Taylor to take his education and his experience and his mathematical skills and look at what's going on here and to make a critical and credible decision. I mean, what's been going on at the county level? I mean, I hate to say it, but it's no better here than it is in Washington, D.C. The money just goes out the door, out the window, out the cracks, out the vents. There's no accountability for nothing. They still don't even know. They still don't even have a credible accounting system. And so you have the IT guy, which I don't know, Vern, to tell you the truth. I've never met him. So, it's nothing personal. But Vern, you were in control of the IT department when the CIC software got here, and you couldn't run it then and you can't run it now. You have no business taking care of our money, bud. You just don't. You're not qualified. But your wife needs insurance, so that's why you're still in there? Boy, that doesn't look very good for the people of Custer County. And it looks less for the people that are running the county. Bill, Lucas, Paul. I mean, that's... I mean, is nobody out? Nobody listening? Nobody gives a shit? What's the problem here? Like, why do we let them run away with us like this, folks? Haven't you had enough? Haven't you had enough yet of the Ann Barthrop show trying to push this justice center on us again? Anyhow, there's no use getting too wrapped up because it's not going to do me any good. I mean, who has an ear, let him hear, right? I'm saying this for like the umpteenth time, and hopefully somebody somewhere at some point is going to be like, oh man, I'm just now finally seeing it. Thank God, right? Because I know it usually takes a few times for people to understand and see what's going on here. I mean, if you're apt, if you're a qualified person in this world, it should only take you one time to be told something and be able to listen to it and execute it. Right, folks? That's on you. It's sad. That's what it is. I mean, but that's the state, right? I mean, that's the state of humanity. I wished I had an answer, and I do have an answer, right? I mean, it's the man upstairs, right? If you don't have faith in the goodness of mankind, then you're bound and determined to be gobbled up by the evildoers of this world, because it's happening left and right. But I'll be danged if I'm going to let Bill Canna and Ann Barthrop burn our ass to the ground. They damn near got it done already, but you ain't going to get this justice center through. You're not going to. Just like the lodging tax, 2-to-1 smoked your ass. If it wasn't people like James Gilbert trying to say, oh, let's spread sludge everywhere. PFAS chemicals, they're fine. And I got a PhD in biology or whatever it is. And it's like, dude, you don't know if you're punched or bored, man. Like, really? How can you say you have all these qualifications and be that smart but be that stupid? How in the hell can you make a decision like that? Man, that's bad news, folks. That's what a third of our country is, made up of these Looney Tunes. They're still 2-1, folks, all the way around the line, right? Still 2 good people to 1 every Looney Tune. But the fact of the matter is the problem is that we don't do anything about it. We're too busy doing our own thing, and like I said, I understand. But that's no excuse. There's no excuse for it. We have to come together. And so speaking of coming together, so we're talking about Taylor again here, right? I mean, I have the utmost confidence in Taylor because even though Taylor and I haven't spent that many hours together, you know, like some people that I've, you know, spent days and days and days and days and days and side by side. I haven't spent that kind of time with Taylor, but I spent 3/4 of my life running the ranches that his uncle and his dad owned. Spent 3/4 of my life taking care of business for them people and for myself, right? I didn't just do it for them, I did it for myself. But with that in mind, I feel that I have a really good understanding of the cloth that these folks are made of. And so I have the utmost confidence in Taylor when we bring something to his attention. Taylor, go to the courthouse and tell him you want to see the financial statements for October 2025. And they're going to go in and they're going to say, what? There is none. They don't have the damn things. Burns got it all in his head. That's what he said, anyhow. So what we're looking for Taylor to do is kind of show him the direction. It's like, you can go this way or this way, right? And so we're pretty sure that we need to go this way. So go that way and figure out, look for yourself what's going on, man, and use your skills, your Department of Justice societal interaction, human being, good-hearted, do the right thing, all of this stuff, right? That's the DOJ, right? That's the Department of Justice, right? We justice is what Americans are, that's what America is founded on, right? It's not just the king. It's not the king's court. It's the fair right to a trial, to a jury. You're innocent until proven guilty. That's what America is about, folks, is justice. And there is no justice right now because there's no consequence for all this wrongdoing. So back to Taylor, right? That's what all of us are looking at Taylor to do, at least to start with, right? Is that he needs to get in a position where he can ask these critical questions and go, are you kidding me? Why is there no minutes? There's no nothing on the Justice Center because it's all up at Bill's office. I mean, isn't that treasonous? It's treasonous to me. You're doing it underhanded and behind my back, Bill. I told you no, I didn't want it, but you still just keep doing it. And so I've said this from the very start. The only reason that you're doing that's the only reason in the whole world that makes sense is that you are getting paid. People say, well, it's because he wants his name on it. It already says in the lease that if it ever happens, it's going to say on there it's the Chet Haga Trust. It'll never say Billy Bob Biden Canada on there. So that doesn't count. None of that is credible, right? He has to be getting paid. Back to Taylor. So on December 1st, Taylor's been out of town here for the last little bit here. He's been gone a better part of 6 weeks or so. Had some obligations, some family obligations. Most respectable, highly credible, all of that, right? I mean, that's life that we live, right? And without having family and them kind of interactions, then what's the use, right? But so Taylor's going to be gone. I was hoping to have a meet and greet with Taylor before Thanksgiving, but he won't be back until after Thanksgiving. So what we've done, folks, we've already made arrangements. We have all aboard Westcliff rented for December 1st, 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we're inviting everybody. You tell everybody you know it's going to be we're going to get our loan paper, right? We're going to get Jordy to, I know there's a lot of controversy there and a lot of, stuff that's happened in the past that maybe doesn't add up or whatever, but that's water under the bridge, right? It doesn't matter what it is or what it was or what who said what or whatever, right? It's irrelevant what happened. Fact of the matter is that the Sentinel is no longer in business. For what reasons, I'm not sure. It seems to be awful hush-hush, which has always raised a suspicion. I mean, it just does. I'm not saying anything bad, good, or indifferent. It's just lack of information and transparency creates suspicion. That's all there is to it. But we're going to get Jordan to put out an article or whatever we need to do to advertise that it's a meet and greet to meet Taylor Lopresti on December 1st, all aboard Westcliff, 5 p.m. Folks. We got some other stuff that we're wanting to try to do that has to do with the caucus. I'm thinking that I'm going to try to get Mr. Jack Canterbury on. I'm going to try to do my best. I was hoping to get him on this week, but I know they got some hunting tags this season, so I didn't figure there was any use trying to hassle him over that and wait till that season will be over this weekend. But so I'm hoping next week we can kind of go through what's the caucus, right? And so the caucus is the most critical part of the voting process. Nobody really understands it. There's only 4 states that have a pure caucus and only 9 states that have a partial caucus. And to the best of my understanding, that Colorado is one of the 4 states with the pure caucus, right? So the caucus is what is the people's voice to pick a primary candidate for the Republican Party. And so, from the best of my knowledge, a lot of these other states, they just pick them, right? The GOP, the GOP of the particular state picks the primary candidate, right? So that doesn't really, from the way I understand it, and I might be a little mistaken, where that's why we're going to go over this next week or whenever we can get Jack on. But in the other states, right, where the board, I'm going to call it the board, the elected officials of the GOP of that particular state nominate. So what you're doing is you're getting a small amount of people, you're getting elected officials nominating the primary candidate. In the caucus, the people get to nominate and they get to vote. So it's quite a bit different. Yeah, we're going to get this caucus deal together. We got enough time, and so the really cool thing about the caucus is there's a lot of different. So that's also, the caucus is also where the PCP, the precinct committee people, are chosen for the Republican Party. So there's 3 precincts, 2 people from each precinct. That all gets voted on at the caucus as well. And I mean, if you listen to this podcast much and you understand kind of what's going on, you've heard us talk about that the CCRCC, the Custer County Republican Central Committee, really doesn't have a whole lot of power. as far as like political power, like the only real power they have is if something would happen to one of the commissioners, then they get to pick a replacement commissioner. But they don't get to pick a replacement anything else. You know, if something would happen to the treasurer or the clerk or the assay or whatever, the commissioners pick that. So it's only if the commissioner goes down. But the thing about the CCRCC, I think that a lot of people don't understand, and I mean, I didn't understand it to start with, but what it is it's a support, right? We're here to support Republican candidates for higher offices, congressional districts, district attorneys, judges, all of this stuff. And hell, the CCRCC now, they want to spend all the money on having this other stuff that they don't even want to support the candidates. And it's like, what's it for, right? So the people that are running the CCRCC right now, and I mean, I'm not even going to go into trying to say who it is. We all know who it is, right? Ann and her band of whatever them people are, Looney Tunes in my opinion. They don't think squarely. I mean, they have their own agenda. And we all have our own agenda, right? But justice is the agenda that I'm talking about. Justice is what we're talking about here. We're not talking about getting paid from the Justice Center again and again and again. And whatever, what is it, 5, 6, 7 years later? They're gonna try to do it again because we've only paid $250,000 out of the 500 and some thousand. We still are only halfway there, and it's just beyond me why there's not enough public upheaval to just tell these son of a bitches, let's just take our loss. We've already lost $250,000. Let's call it a wash and be done. $250,000 is a hell of a lot better than $40 million. You can't afford to stock the dang jail that you got, to staff the jail you got. But a $40 million one, that's going to do it? Or, $20 million and $20 million worth of interest? I mean, there's only a certain group of people that wants that to happen, and they're the people that are getting paid off of it. It doesn't make sense for any other reason besides you're getting your hand in the cookie jar. So I've been busy enough trying to take care of all the stuff that I've been doing that, we put it together some. Jimmy and I have worked on it. Jimmy's worked on it a lot. I mean, when I was in Oklahoma, Jimmy's worked on it a lot, keeping track of what these elected officials are doing when all the rest of us are too busy to take care of it. I mean, did anybody watch the budget meeting 2 weeks ago? You should. I didn't. Jimmy told me a little bit when he was watching it. I mean, they have no idea what they're doing with the finance. Byrne just switches it back and forth, rob Peter to pay Paul and back and forth, and there'll be some more tax money coming in. We'll spend that when we get it. Right? That's their whole attitude. There's no accountability of any of it. And that all has to do with the people that are in there. And I mean, I seen Lucas this morning. I mean, it doesn't do me a whole lot of good to light into these guys when I see them on the street. I mean, they're going to do what they're going to do. But for them to promote Vern to the head financial position, this is a slap in the face. That's what it is to me. The man has no business. He's not qualified. I'm not saying that he's a bad person. That's not. I'm not talking about anything about that because I don't know him. I'm just saying he's not qualified to take care of my money. I mean, does anybody even give a shit out there, right? Am I just talking to myself, or it's like, hello? 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 Mr. Gramlich in the house? Hello? 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 But anyhow, kind of back to my point, you know, we're going to have the meet and greet with Taylor. We're going to work on the caucus so people can understand and learn what the caucus is. And this can be settled once and all at the caucus. I mean, if Ann and her people can gather up enough horsepower to beat us, then so be it, but I don't think they can. They have such a small clique, and they've made so many people mad that, and so many people understand what they're doing, that there's no way. I mean, you just can't act unjust and get by, right? You can lie your way through a few things, but at some point, people's going to figure out what you're doing. You just can't do that kind of shit. You just can't do it. It's just the way of it. You're only going to get by so long. But back to the Justice Center. So I'm still in my mind, and I've been working on this. And it's, like I said, it would help if I didn't have to think about all the other stuff that I'm doing. But I'm trying to formulate what I think is the kill shot, right? How do we expose them to the point where there's no coming back? How do we expose what they're doing to where they're so embarrassed by the whole community that they basically don't have any choice but to resign? And we know they ain't going to resign. Bill Candy ain't going to resign shit. Hell, he's a full bird colonel. He thinks everybody else eats shit with the pigeons and the chickens. Hell, I'm this and I'm that. And I'm Bill Candy. By God, my family's been around there forever. Shit, man. You're a loser, dude. You're a cheapskate thief. Robbing us blinder than shit because you think you're all of this and all of that. And I'm pissed, boy. But your time's coming, Bill. We know you're under pressure, man. You've done some things that are ethically. I mean, you're buying products for your septic system business with county tax ID. That right there, why? Like, you can't make enough freaking money putting in a septic system. You gotta go bang the county ID, tax ID to get money off? Fuck, dude. Excuse my language, but what a joke. What a joker. A joker, Bill. You're a joker, bud. You can't maintain your own finance, but you're in charge of mine? Fuck. I guess back to what Chuck said. I mean, the only good thing about you, Bill, is that you beat Deb Adams. That's all you got, bud. It's sad, right? You were a little kid when my dad used to run the sawmill for your dad. That was a long time ago. Hell of a long time ago. But you forcing me to let the people of this county see what's really going on here. And I'm not. Shit, you did. Go investigate for yourself, folks. Go into Kelly Camper and say, where's the meeting minutes where they okayed the purchase of the Justice Center? There is none. We've already been there and done that and shook it upside down. Finally, Lucas came up with something. Said, well, I was just going through the basement and happened to run onto this. Like, dude, we know you're in bed with Ann, Lucas. Right? Y'all are in that same clique. But it ain't going to happen forever, right? I mean, you guys are going to get exposed because you're not doing it right. Numbers don't lie. You can't keep treating the books and the finances the way that you're treating them. The rest of this doesn't matter. Nobody cares about your personal life and your personal feelings and how you feel about this or how you feel about that. All we care about is that you keep the money straight. And you can't do that. You won't do that. It's beyond your capability, Bill, because that's not who you are as a person. You can't even keep your own finance straight. You're in the septic business, man. Them people make a lot of money, but you're using the tax ID from the county to buy the stuff? Like, well, it don't matter? You're right, it don't matter, man. It don't matter what you do. Because at the end of the day, man, we know what you're doing. We know that you're unjust, and we know that you're a thief about shit. I don't know how much you got paid. I mean, the word around town, Mike Haga has a big mouth. He said he gave Ann Barthrop $30,000 cash to make that Justice Center thing happen. Just saying. This is from a convicted felon that's been in the pen over this same thing. Where the hell was the attorney? Where the hell is the attorney now? It really is where they say you can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. Hollywood can't dream up this kind of shit. Disappointing. Quite disappointing from a legacy family of Custer County. Back to legacy families. Lopresti, Boyer. I've been here a while, folks. So, we have a lot of faith in Taylor. And we have a lot of faith in ourselves, right? What we need to do is come together here and kind of, we all thinking the same thing. It's just we're too spread out and we're too scattered. And they have time to focus on it. And Barthrop has a lot of time to go around hobnobbing and sticking her nose in the right places. But it's okay, right? Because it's not going to go on much longer. We're on to you. We understand what you're doing. We understand that you have greed inside your heart and you're doing all this stuff for monetary gain. Now, if it was legit, if there was a real reason to have a jail upgrade, and if we really needed that, but hell, let's face it, folks. Why do we need a jail? Hell, you can't get a judge to make a conviction. Judges don't want to convict nothing. They're letting all these there's some hardcore criminals. They just turn out right back out on the streets. Hell, the only people they're incarcerating are people like Tina Peters. What a joke. Is that the whole thing behind the Justice Center? So you can throw people like Steve Rourke and Jim McMahon in there for running their mouth? Wouldn't surprise me in a bit. I already know what's coming down the pike. I already know what's in these people's mind and what's in their brain, what's in their thought. They're so brash and so brazen that they brag about it all the time. Mike Haga already said he gave Ann Barthrop $30,000 cash to make the damn deal, and she didn't have any. She doesn't even have a license to make that transaction. There's nothing legit about that whole deal. And all the paper, all of the research and all that stuff's at Bill Canada's office. Why that son of a bitch is not subpoenaed, I don't know what Jeff Lindsay's doing. I guess they just don't care, or they just don't think it's a big enough fish to fry. I don't know what the deal is. There's enough information there that if you had it all compiled, I don't know how you could turn a blind eye to it. And maybe that's part of it is compiling it. But look, I'm not the criminal investigator, man. And Jimmy knows a lot more about it than I do. He's been on it longer. But it's it's such a menage of stuff. Just like the whole deal with Braden Wilson and the deal with the check and how Virginia Trujillo goes over there and says, well, Bill Canada don't have the right. She don't know shit. Bill Canada's one of the only 3 signers on the DEM account. Virginia Trujillo doesn't have the right to spend money. All she does is collect money. The commissioners spend the money, not the treasurer. The treasurer collects the money. You want to talk about some backwoods, hillbilly, inbred, that's what the hell's going on here. This is some backwoods, hillbilly, backsassword shit up here in this courthouse up here in Custer County, Colorado. Some real, just, I mean, blatant disregard for any kind of justice. There's no justice to it. It's all just do whatever they want to do. Just like Bill. Hell, I'm a full bird colonel, man. But you're not. You used to be. But you ain't shit now, Bill. Now you's a thief. Using the damn tax ID from the county to buy septic supplies for your business? Shit, man. It's bad as, I mean, just like Tom Flower buying iron for his projects like, why don't they have enough integrity? It ain't because I mean, Christ, you're making almost $90,000 frickin' dollars, man. Jesus. I mean, I hope I'm finally cutting through to a few. I mean, I'm sure some people are tired of hearing me. Probably like, man, we've already heard this, but you know, where I'm trying to go, you know, I appreciate everybody that understands what I'm saying. I really do, because we need to team up here. We need to get together, and we need to make this happen. But there's people out there that are smart enough to understand. They just need to be shown. They don't have the time, or they don't have, it's just not the timing of the universe or whatever for them to understand it yet, right? Or they would already known it. But the timing is coming up again and again. Every time it's making another revolution, the timing mark just keeps hitting the top. Bam, bam, bam. So hopefully there's people out there that are maybe that were on the fence or didn't understand or didn't agree, but they're like, huh. After you said it like the 14th time, I'm finally understanding that maybe the way that I was thinking about it wasn't the proper way to think about it. That's the only reason that I'm doing this, folks. Do you think this is for glamour? And the damn sure ain't for money. We don't make a red-blooded cent off any of this. All this does is cost me. It costs me personally. Costs Mike. Mike takes time for out of his family every Wednesday night. Soccer games, football games, volleyball games, all kinds of stuff. Family dinner, all that stuff. So that we can talk about what we talk about to you folks out there in the audience. It's our donation to humanity. And we do it because we want to. We're convicted. We know that this is the truth. And we're about speaking the truth. And there's a lot to go. There's a long ways to get there. This is going to start with the caucus. Like I said, I'm going to do my best to get Jack on next week. If I can't get him then, I'll probably get him the week after. I think I can. Oh, we got 55 viewers, it says. That's pretty good. We used to just get like 20. So I appreciate everyone that honestly cares enough to listen to what I'm saying, right? I mean, I'm not all of this and I'm not all of that, and I damn sure don't care about snapping my suspenders. If we could get the deal done and snuff out the Justice Center and get the financial thing and all that squared away, and Trump could make the whole world go like, get all these damn illegals out of here and make the country run the way it's supposed to, you would never see my ass again. I'd be in Tahiti, right? I wouldn't be here. Why would I? Right? If everything was fixed, I wouldn't have the need to be here expounding on stuff that I think is elusive, right? If everybody knew what I was already saying, that we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it, right? And so, I mean, that's one of the that's why we do this. So it looks like if I'm going to get Jack, it'll have to be next week, the 19th, because it's probably be a tight fit to get him on the 26th, the day before Thanksgiving. So I'll do my best. I don't know why that. I mean, I know their hunting season will be over, so I don't see any reason why that we couldn't get him on next week. But the caucus, folks, it seems real elusive, and it is complicated, but not really, right? It's only complicated because nobody systematically and simplistically broke it down and explained it. Like in farmers' terms, like, okay, 3 of us walk through the door, we go over here, we do this and we do that, and that's all there is to it. Right? I mean, government for me in school, I hated it. I hated it. Oh shit, I hated it. Matter of fact, if it wasn't for my teacher, I mean, she probably could have flunked me if she wanted to, because I literally could not stand government classes in high school. But yet now, it's like, well, they didn't teach us this. They did the same way with history, right? History Channel is so fun to watch. History in school wasn't worth a shit. Like, why does it have to be like that, folks? And it don't, right? So that's like what we need to break out of as a race, right? We got to get away from this whole Cloward and Piven strategy. Socialism is no good. We're not equal. Ain't none of us equal. I mean, we're all born out of creation. We have that in common, but ain't none of us equal. We have different blood types. We got different hair color, different eye color. We can live. We're stronger, whatever, smarter. We ain't the same. We're not equal. The respect factor should be equal, right? We should, in my opinion, we should respect each one individually, properly. But to try to think that someone is equal as me, good luck. Good luck doing the shit I do. You can't. There ain't 1 out of 100 people can do what I do. I've already watched it my whole life. Not trying to brag. I just know. I've been through it. It ain't bragging when you've already done it. But back to my point of this is that trying to explain and get familiarized with the caucus, folks, is the most important thing that's coming up in the next 3 months. It's going to happen in March. I don't have my paper with me. I need to bring that out here so I can look at that. But Jack was so kind as to give me a list of what happens day by day by day by day of all of the electoral processes, the deadlines. You know, another thing too about the Republican the caucus, the Republican caucus, is you have to be a registered Republican to be in this, right? So if you're an independent, we appreciate you. I appreciate you listening if you are an independent. I mean, because knowledge is knowledge. It don't matter if you call yourself black, green, or purple, right? It don't matter. But at the end of the day, the way the caucus works, the procedure, you have to be a registered Republican to even enter the caucus. So when we're talking about caucus, if you're not a registered Republican, you're actually, by default, you're not included. And so, I mean, it's actually, I would encourage you to change your affiliation from independent to Republican for this simple matter. The caucus has so much power that you have more power at the caucus than you have at any other voting part of the whole kit and caboodle of the whole universe, right? National elections, state elections, county elections, all of that stuff. Caucus is where you have, as a single individual, where you have the most influence and the most ability for your voice to be heard. So if you are independent, I'm proposing this to go ahead and register as a Republican, and I will have to ask Jack or somebody with a little more. I think it's in January that you have to be registered before then to be able to participate in the caucus. There's a timeline there, right? You just can't say, well, I want to change my affiliation and then go down there and then be in like Flynn. It doesn't work that way. There's a certain amount of time that you have to be there's a few months in there that you have to decide beforehand what you want to do. And so, like I said, I would advise anybody that's independent, and of course, the same goes for Democrat, right? I mean, if you've had enough of the thieving and cheating and lying and deceiving and all of that, register Republican. And I know that's difficult. I know there's a lot of people that say, well, the Republican Party is shattered and it isn't this and it isn't that. But the reason it isn't that is because of people like you, and myself included. We didn't want to be a part of it. But the times have changed. It's a different time in history, folks. It's time to unite. It's time to come together. It's 2-1. All this stuff, all these votes are going down 2-1 because it's 2-1. It's two conservative-minded people to one delusional person. And that's where we're at, right? And so we have more power banding together, and that's what the caucus is, right? We all need to get together for the caucus. It's only one night every 2 years. It's not a big commitment. You don't have to know a whole bunch of stuff. You just have to come in there, know the procedure, take care of business, and execute properly. It's not a hodgepodge and a menagerie of stuff, right? It's not about your friends, and it's not about who you think you like or what you don't like or whatever. We already have a predetermined, pre-designed plan of what's going to happen, and we need to execute, and we need bodies. We need troops. I'd like to see 200 people show up to the caucus in our behalf for Taylor Lopresti. And I don't think that that's really that hard of a push, folks. That's only roughly 70 people from each precinct. There's 20-some hundred registered Republicans in this county. We can't even get 10% of that to show up to the caucus. I think we can. I'm going to do my best, right? Because, like I said, times have changed. It's a different set of cards. It's a different deal. It's a different scenario. It's not like it was 10, 15 years ago when the Republican Party didn't really matter. I mean, they couldn't even pay to send the delegates up to vote at send the people up to the state assembly to vote. They had to pay their own way. What kind of bullshit is that? That is so weak. It's so weak. Republicans are strong. They're usually conservative. They usually are good business folks. I'm not saying they got plenty of money, but we know they got plenty of money. And we just finally, Jack had a pretty good Lincoln Day, and then I don't know what's happened with, Andrew Zeller's in charge now when he's here. And the rest of the time it's Ann and her crew. And I mean, my whole thing personally, I've said this before, and I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but the reason that I don't go to the CCRC meetings anymore is because then people don't invite me. And I'm not going to go bang on your door trying to ask you out on a date, right? If you can't act like a civilized human being and invite me to a gathering where you know that that you need me, oh, that's right, you don't need me, do you? Lisa and Nikita and y'all don't. That's how much respect you have for me. I'm talking specifically to Nikita Phillips and Don Ramsdale. Both y'all are my PCPs. Y'all are doing a very, very, very sorry job because not once have you ladies invited me to a CCRCC meeting since the administration has changed. And it's bullshit. Complete and utter and total bullshit. It's embarrassing. You're embarrassing yourself, but you just don't realize it. You think you're following Ann Barthrop around and doing yourself some good? Shit, all you're doing is embarrassing yourself. Just so you know. So anyhow, folks, I'm having a little trouble getting started, but I see it's almost pulling up on an hour and a half here, so once again, I honestly and truly appreciate everyone that takes the time out of their busy life to be a part of this podcast, this thought process, this movement of trying to become a greater people, a greater nation, a greater county, a greater republic, a greater family, a greater person, right? That's all it is. That's all that's all I was ever trying to do, is be better. And do I fail? Of course I do, right? We get tired and we get distraught and we make just bad decisions and we be mean to people and that kind of stuff, but it's not the way that things should be. So with all that being said, once again, my deepest appreciation, my prayers to my cohort in crime here, Mr. James. Mr. James, man, I wish you the best, buddy. You better get your ass back to work here. Got way too much to do without you, bud. So with that being said, we're looking forward to seeing you all next week. Thanks again. Good evening.